I was in my early 30s, in my second marriage, and I acted out and then got bored of that and quit. And then about a year later, my wife found out some of the secrets that I'd had, and she said, you're not such a nice guy. People think you're a nice guy, but you're passive aggressive and you hurt me, and you need to go get help. And I'm thinking, I need to get help. You're the one who's angry all the time and moody all the time and never wants to have sex anymore. But she says, I'm leaving you if you don't go get help. And you're a sex addict. So, okay, we're not having any sex. How can I be a sex addict? So I actually went to a 12-step group for sex addicts, quickly found out I was not a sex addict. I wasn't having enough sex, and it wasn't impulsive. My acting out was more around seeking a validation than it was about actual sexual contact. So I landed in some really good places. One was that 12-step group, because for the first time in my life, I started just opening up and being real, being transparent, sharing things about me, revealing what's called my toxic shame, things I never let people know about me. Because I grew up in a fundamental Christian church, an angry, critical father, codependent mother, trying to be different than my father, trying to be different than all the bad men I'd heard women complain about during the angry 60s and 70s. And so that was the first time I really started revealing me. And then I got into therapy for the first time and started learning about boundaries and started, learning about how to take better care of myself. And then I joined a men's group that I was in for about 5 or 6 years. That's where I did the bulk of the work on what became No More Mr. Nice Guy, because I began to realize this roadmap, this paradigm that I had, that if I'm just a nice guy, I'll be liked and loved and get my needs met. And I came to realize that my paradigm was faulty and flawed and based on an internalized perception that I wasn't good enough just as I was. And it's about needs, about getting our needs met. And I set the lesson up around that idea of neediness and how for men and women, when a man, for example, is needy and approaching a woman, whether it's his partner or somebody he doesn't know, I say that neediness comes across as creepy. And it is not that there's anything wrong with having needs. We're human. Of course we have needs. But I said our job is to take full responsibility and accountability for, number one, getting our own needs met and surrounding ourselves with people who want to help us get our needs met. And I think it was one of my coaches in our online forum said, Robert, can't we basically say that nice guy syndrome is neediness? So exactly what you just said. Yeah, is unmet, unconscious needs, which tends to lead men to operate from what I call covert contracts. And a lot of people, after they read No More Mr. Nice Guy, they said, Robert, that was a thing that just really hit me. And to me, I still use the concept in my life. And basically, nice guys, because we're not comfortable getting our needs met, we think we're bad for having needs. We think we internalized all of this stuff as children, infants, inaccurately, and an emotional belief, I'm bad for having needs, or everybody else's needs have to get met before mine can get met, or I'll be needless and wantless. I mean, I tried to be that way as well. No, not me. Let me take care of you. So, but what happens then is we have needs. And because the nice guy's often hiding their needs and their wants and their sexuality, because we're afraid we're going to get a negative response, that makes us like this big empty hole. It makes us needy. So we use these 3 covert contracts. First one is that if I'm a good guy, I'll be liked and loved. And often men, nice guys, apply that to sexuality as well. Well, if I'm a good guy to my wife or to this woman, I listen to her talk about her problems. I paid her car payment. I helped her move. She should want to have sex with me now, which is very
that would be a
manipulative.
fundamental misunderstanding of sexual attraction, though, wouldn't it?
I call it nice guy seduction. It does not work. I tried it for many years. So that covert contract number 1, if I'm a good guy, I'll be liked and loved, and the women I want to have sex with will have sex with me. Covert contract number 2, and this is the one really around needs, that if I can read other people's minds and meet their needs without them having to ask, then they will read my mind and meet my needs without me having to ask. Totally manipulative, totally unconscious. The nice guy often doesn't even know he's got this covert contract. Otherwise, covert is hidden. It's unconscious. The other person, the other people, the world, God doesn't know we have this covert contract. That God, I did this, how come you're not doing this for me? And again, it often plays out between us and women. Third covert contract is if I do everything right, then I will have a smooth, problem-free life. Now, real Peter Panish. Everything should go well. If I do it right, it should go well. How come everything isn't going the way I want it to? Well, life doesn't. Life is chaotic by nature. But borrowed functioning. So, for example, what if for me to have a sense of identity, a sense of value, a sense of purpose that I count? What if I need to be, I need somebody that needs fixed. I need somebody that has issues that I can step in and help. So let's say you and I get together and I say, oh man, you're struggling, or you're sad, you're depressed, or you've got that addiction, or if I just helped you, you could really be amazing. You could really get your life together and everything would be good. And back behind that covert contract is you'll love me and appreciate me. And if this is a romantic interest, I think, and then I'm going to have that diamond in the rough that really gets polished up into something special that I don't think I could just get on my own right now. So my borrowed functioning is I need you to have problems. I need you to have struggles. I need you to have an addiction. I need you to have money problems. I need you to have an eating disorder. I need you to be borderline narcissistic. We're talking about all the terms bantered around on social media nowadays. I need that for me to function.
Persecuting yourself.
Well, it's even more than that. If you take a stand, if you live up to your full potential, if you make a little noise in the world, you're going to get nailed to a few crosses. It comes with the territory. Looking at those books right behind you on the shelf, both of those people have been nailed to a few crosses for speaking their truth, right? It just is going to happen. So the truth is, I've learned you got to develop somewhat of a tough skin and just know it's just noise. It's just noise. The masculine and feminine side to us. Men do, women do. The feminine side of us is receptive. I often say the feminine in us and in women is a big empty bucket with a hole in the bottom that needs to be filled from the outside. So if the feminine is this empty bucket with a hole in the bottom that needs to be filled from the outside, and a guy is approaching a feminine creature, basically saying, fill me, love me, want me, desire me, that big empty bucket's going, hell no, get the fuck away from me. That just feels like something I have to do, not something that's going to benefit me. And this happens in marriages. It happens with single guys. And then the guy thinks, what's wrong with me? Women don't want me sexually. And because they've confused their emotional neediness, their own emptiness, their own empty bucket for sexual rejection. But they're completely separate things. It's just so many men wrap sexual validation around their inner emptiness and neediness, approach the feminine with this, sexual, love me, want me, do me. But underneath that is, I just need you to make me feel like I'm an okay person. And most women, if they have any sense of, the vibrational energy states, that's going to feel bad. It's going to feel creepy to them, even if they don't know why. It was the perfect storm that was perfect for me. If you think about it, what normal self-respecting guy would even continue the rest of that honeymoon? He'd sit up and have a discussion and say, wait a minute, we need to talk. What do you mean by that? Of course, my expectation is now that we're married, we'll have more sex and we don't have to hide it anymore or be secretive or have it be filled with shame. I think a self-respecting person would have said, let's have a conversation about this. And if that conversation didn't show some promise of it could lead to a resolution, he'd go, we need to end this now. This isn't, but that's not what a nice guy does. That's not what I did. I thought, I can fix this, right? It was just perfect for me. It laid out the perfect, task that I could undertake, right? To fix that thing. Now, of course, you would think any rational partner, when they commit to a monogamous relationship, you would think that it would imply that monogamy implies availability, right? And I've been saying that for a while, because you can't say to somebody, like, you can only talk to me, but I'm not going to talk to you. You can only have sex with me, but I'm not going to have sex with you. That, That's not rational. And nobody would agree to that. But in that case, I was a nice guy. So I took it on. When I was a marriage and family therapist, couple walks in my office, very first session, I would tell them both, the best thing you guys can do for your marriage is both of you have good same-sex friends. You don't need to be each other's best friend. That's a mythology out of pop songs and, Hollywood movies. We don't need to be each other's best friends. My wife, I love her dearly. She is not my best friend. She is not who I go to when I'm struggling with something. I got plenty of men who know me well, and I take it to them first, and then I give her the guy version of what's going on with me, because she does need to know. But she doesn't need to be there, and I just, sort it all out with her. I do that with guys. But my wife and I were walking the dog this morning. The last couple mornings, I'm always up 7 a.m. or earlier. And, I've been getting up at 8:30. And so it's the first day I've walked the dog with my wife in a couple of days, because she's just gone out and did it by herself, because I was so tired I couldn't get up. And we're walking. I says, I don't know why, but, I think I'm just feeling a little depressed. I'm just low energy. And I said, I don't know why. And, it's good information for her to have. But as soon as I said it, I even thought this might make her anxious. Now, my wife is a tough cookie, right? She grew up 8 out of 10 kids in poverty, Guadalajara, Mexico, alcoholic father, being beat on by her siblings, beat on by her neighbors, abused by everyone. She's tough. She goes to the gym 2 hours a day. She's a gym rat. She's done Muay Thai. She's done kickboxing. I mean, I don't fuck with her. I mean, she's tough. She can get anything done. But I also know she's feminine. And all of a sudden, her provider, protector, saying, I don't know what's up. I'm a little depressed. And so we got back from walking the dog. I came in, did a little meditation, wrote in my journal, and walked out. And here's 2 plates, a plate of fresh pineapple and a plate of fresh papaya. And she's about to go have breakfast with some friends. And she goes, I cut up some fruit for you. And I said, thank you. That feels really good. So I had a call I had to get on, got a little work done. And then I realized I had a break today. I got a bunch of more calls today, my time. And I thought I have just enough time to go put the video in of Funk Roberts, my workout, coach online. And I sent her a message. She's out with her girlfriends. I'm gonna go get my workout in, get my sweat on, because I haven't worked out probably in a week and a half, which could be part of why I'm not feeling so good. And she gets back and she comes up, I'm in the shower, and she goes, are you feeling better? A little less depressed? Maybe the workout? Part of our human drive is a drive for connection. I think we will always be driven to connect and desire to be in a relationship of some sort. Now, whether or not that is pair bonded, same sex, monogamous, exclusive, with the opposite sex, heterosexual, it doesn't matter what it is. I think the human nature is we'll always want to connect. What form that will take, I don't know. Now, what I would love to see is it take a very honest form. But can you be honest and transparent and conscious and use it as a way of growing you? I think we'll always have need for a relationship.